Jacob Preston's lawyer hits out as he receives a 4-match ban. Preston was on Tuesday night found guilty of a crusher tackle on Tino Fa'asua-Malawi and handed a 4-match ban. Preston's disappointment was doubled by the fact he could have received a fine if not for 2 previous offences this year. Instead, he'll be sidelined for a month. Preston's lawyer, Paul McGeer, claimed diving was widespread in the game as players attempted to earn penalties from crusher tackles. McGeer said, "I'm not suggesting this with Tino, but some players certainly appear to be lying down a bit in order to milk a penalty, particularly when players go down and behave like their heads are almost falling off. And then they're running it up 2 or 3 times in the next set of 6. 4 weeks, Fletch.
Yeah, extremely harsh. Extremely harsh. But in saying that, the 2 priors...
It's his 3rd offence. That's what's worked against him, right?
You got to know. What's that, Brooks?
Richard and Moreno.
What?
The 2 priors.
Oh, right.
Sorry, my mic is off.
No.
It's about timing.
This is a big blow for them.
Big. And this rules him out of Origin 1 as well.
It does too. I don't know whether he wanted snuck in.
I don't think he would have.
Not for game 1.
No.
Could be
ends the dream. Or what? Look, let's say he has a big next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He's not out of the picture.
No. He was certainly in the chat, but I think there's a couple of back rowers.
Hurts for the Bulldogs. They head down to Canberra this weekend.
With no Curran still.
No Curran, no Tupanua, no Preston. Still no Jack Todd or Sam Hughes either. So they're missing a lot in the middle.
Yeah. No, but Tino actually went in and apologised.
Yeah.
So after the game, he went in there and said, "Sorry, mate, I was just, I was playing for a penalty."
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
Yeah, in my day, not many. Yeah, it wasn't around. You'd milk a penalty when you're trying to get up to play the ball, but the head high stuff, because a lot of it was let go.
Yeah.
There are some players who just get straight back up, but there are certain players who lay down for a penalty.
Do you think a coach, so say it's in an important situation and a player backs into a tackle and they feel that pressure on the back of their head and they don't do it, a coach would say, "What are you doing there?"
I would suggest some. Yeah. Some do. I would suggest some players are doing it, and you think you're doing the right thing for your team, like you are. You're trying are trying to get a penalty, but it just looks. It doesn't look great.
It's not good. The crusher's almost the worst, I reckon.
No, I reckon the cannonball's the worst.
No, I mean the crusher's the worst.
For
faked. Yeah. People are faking. What do you call them when you fall on the ankles?
Oh, the hip drops.
People are faking hip drops now.
Yeah, that's gone quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah,
there's a couple of hip drops gone quiet.
But the head situation's really tough, gents, to swallow. They're trying to protect the head. They've done a crackdown on high shots.
Yep.
For what the lawyer's trying to say, like, how can the NRL now go in and go, okay, we've got to crack down on staging and doing all this stuff, particularly on
diving,
the head.
we call it.
What
do we call it? How do they do it in soccer?
Simulation is what they call it.
Oh.
Yeah. If you do a dive, you get suspended. You get yellow and red cards, and then it goes to.
So you can get sent
off.
off.
You can get sent off. Yeah.
For okay.
One dive, you'll get a yellow. 2
Very
dives.
hard to do it in rugby league.
But
faking.
But this is the head. This isn't leg, hip, whatever it is. This is head. Head is paramount in terms of injuries at the moment in all sports, and you just get this is the thing with what Tino's done. He's actually causing more harm than help in the scenario of them trying to protect the head. And like having crackdowns and then coming back and knowing what the future holds in terms of legal action, class actions. It's happening in sports.
Yeah.
Like players have got to be pretty wary. Like you can't be screwing around with head injuries and faking head injuries and stuff like that. I know there probably was an element and it is competition. It's hard to say, but that's a tough thing in the era that we're in.
Anyway, Bulldogs, you're going to be out without one of your guns for 4 weeks.
Who do you think fills in at second row?
Oh, they've got some back rowers, don't they?
Might have to push Semin into the back row and Kurt Mann into 13 off the bench.
Side stream.
You think he's a back rower?
Semin? Yeah, he can play back row.
What about Moran into the starting side?
Yeah, at back row.
Could you put him in there?
Yeah.
Put Moz in there? Okay.
Very different type of play to Preston. There's a big loss.
Oh, mate, there's not many like Presto.
Big loss. The Canberra Raiders, Tom Starling is set to re-sign with the club. This is via Dave Riccio on the Daily Telly. The Raiders keep scoring wins with the inform hooker Tom Starling poised to ink a new 2-year deal. Following several weeks of negotiations, Starling, 26, he's only 26, has informed Raiders officials that he intends to commit to the club until the end of 2027. The lodging of final paperwork remains before the new contract is rubber stamped. Now, this gets interesting because 3 doesn't go into 2 positions, Fletch, in a 17. So they've got young Owen Paddy, who looks the goods.
Yep.
He's signed through till 2028. They've just bought Jaden Brayley from the Knights. Denny Levi's off contract at the end of the year, so forget about that one. But Tom Starling, Owen Paddy, and Jaden Brayley.
Strange. When they signed Jaden Brayley, I thought, oh, well, Tommy Starling's is off.
Yeah.
Now they've got 3 first graders, legitimate first graders. You're not going to have 3 hookers playing in.
No way.
I mean, Tommy Starling could, if you wanted to, Tommy Starling could play 80 minutes.
And just out of those 3 players, I can't see the ability for any of those 3 to play another position and therefore have utility value on your bench. Can you?
Starling might be able to play 6.
6, yeah.
I don't know. Owen Paddy looks like he could play in the halves somewhere.
But you couldn't use him as a Brandon Smith at 13, for example, and have them as a middle forward.
Do you feel the Jaden Brayley thing was, righto, we better get in first in case we lose Starling? Because there was talk that he was going to go.
I think Tom Starling's form to start this year has been above and beyond anything that he's shown previously.
Yeah.
So that's probably been a factor as well. He's been so good to start the year.
Yeah, well, they've all been good.
Owen Paddy looks great.
Owen Paddy.
I like him.
Well, you were talking about the rotation there. The Broncos have a similar sort of situation, but Billy Walters is quite the utility. He can go to multiple positions. Like you said, those 3, like they've got Pake, Smoothie, Walters, Moses on the up there too. So potentially in the next few years, like Smoothie might be moved along. But yeah,
and
this
they got
is
Ben
3.
Hunt about to play 9
Ben
too.
Hunt's available there too. So yeah, but 3 straight up hookers. They've got Danny
Strange.
Levi there at the moment. He's likely the one to move
he'll-
for Brayley's position. But yeah,
Anyways,
they're doing something right at the moment.
maybe they got Brayley at a bargain basement deal.
Potentially.
But he's there now. Is he there now?
No, he hasn't left yet. He's still at the Knights. All right, Fletch, your Roosters. What's going on? Brandon Smith set to join South Sydney effective immediately from the Sydney Roosters via the Daily Telegraph. The Roosters and Rabbitohs are on the verge of reaching an agreement for a mid-season transfer for forward Brandon Smith. The clubs have been in negotiations over a release from the Roosters and a deal is imminent. That's according to sources with knowledge over the recent talks. Roosters are demanding $200,000 for the rest of the season, while Souths are struggling to find the cap space to go above $150,000. Smith is due back from an ACL surgery in around 6 weeks.
Yes, it came. I feel that this might have something to do with young Peter Memazoulis doing his elbow. So the Bunnies are thinking, well, geez, we don't know how long he might be out for the rest of the year because it was a dislocation. So maybe they're thinking, well, we better get in. But I know there is there's a bit of a stalemate cost. So the Chooks want $200,000 for the rest of the season, while Souths are struggling to find the cap space to go above $150,000. So that's what they're reporting. They'll come to an agreement.
They will,
and off he goes. Now the Dom Young, it looks like he's being linked with Newcastle.
Yeah, well, can we talk a little bit of Roosters recruitment and retention while I've got you here?
Gotcha.
So I'm going to run you through a timeline over the past 12 months. David Fifita backflips on the Roosters deal, stays at the Titans. They re-signed Angus Crichton on a multi-year deal. That was a success. Chad Townsend is signed from the Cowboys for the 2025 season. They also brought in Mark Nawonga-Nitawase late in 24. They let go of Satili Tupanua, who headed across to the Bulldogs. Waree Hargraves and Kiri headed over to Super League. Joey Manu and Joseph Suali'i headed off to rugby. They then let Terrell May go to the West Tigers during the preseason. That was strange. They've now told Dom Young he can look for another club, and Brendan Smith is off to Souths.
Yes. Are they shoring up the decks for someone? I know all the rumour mill's talking about Joey Manu coming back this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think he's finished. He was going to go to French rugby, but that's been canned. Then the talk was, is he going to come back and play Super Rugby so he is eligible to be an All Black? So there's many moving parts in this, isn't there?
Could they be clearing some cap space for a big signing in the halves next season?
Yeah, well, that's all pretty much done, but that's
done?
That's next year.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. It's just a matter of how many years they're going to get DCE for.
All right, well, let's stay on the Roosters. The Sydney Roosters are set to pay a hefty price for Dom Young's departure. The Sydney Roosters would be prepared to tip in around $250,000 of Dom Young's $450,000 contract, meaning the star winger would return to Newcastle for just $200,000 a season. Newcastle is hoping to sign the English winger to a 2-year deal this week. That would have him playing in the club's round 11 home game against Parramatta.
Yeah, I hope he goes back there.
Me too.
He looks so happy up there. We were discussing this on Tuesday, Monday. I just don't know whether Sydney was for him. Whether or not did he fit into the Roosters the way they were going to play, but he looks so much more happy back up there in Newcastle. It comes from the north of England. Maybe coming down to the Sydney's eastern suburbs was a bit too much for him. I don't know, but I just hope he goes back up there and starts enjoying his footy, because you could just tell he didn't look that happy at the Chooks. There was some defensive errors. Was it just him not buying into the way they defend? I'm not too sure, but we know that he liked being up Newcastle because he was just scoring for fun outside Dane Gagai.
So they're saying that he'll be in the round 11 team against Parramatta. So who are you saying misses out? Is that James Schiller? I think the other side is Greg Marju and Bradman Best.
He's been going
he
okay.
He's been going all right. So Greg Marju, the other winger.
Greg Marju, he's got errors in him, but he's also pretty good from the backfield. And Dom was good on the backfield when he was up there. I don't know what happened.
He hasn't been at the Roosters, though, has he?
For whatever reason, it just didn't work. So, yeah, he'll be going. He'll be leaving, and there's some space opened up for the Chooks. So.
What about this from JJ on the text line? Few roster positions freeing up. He said there's massive rumours up here in Brisbane that the Roosters are in talks with Cobbo.
Yeah. Where are they going to play him? Because that was going on 2 years ago. There was talk they were after Cobbo.
Or could you fit him in on the wing for a season or two, and then he comes in for Teddy at fullback and when Teddy's done?
What are you going to do with Max Jorgensen when he gets there? Oops. Let that one slip.
Okay. I'm listening.
He wants big money. He wants
Cobbo.
He wants big money. Cobbo.
What's he worth?
He'll get 700 somewhere.
Yep. Yeah, easy.
It depends on this next 6 weeks. Reece Walsh is out for 6 weeks. If he just goes berserk, it would obviously bump his price up.
So
you're not paying 700 for a winger, though.
Daniel Tupou is turning 34 in June. He's showing no signs of slowing.
He's going good.
He's going great.
You know what you're going to get with Tupes?
Yeah. And Mark Nwanga-Nituase, I think, is clearly a winger. He's a grouse winger.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Joey was pushing for him for Origin. So was I a little bit, but I know it's not going to happen. I've got to pull it back a little bit. How about Cinco de Mayo? This is what they do in Cinco de Mayo. When's Day of the Dead in Mexico? You know when they dress up in...
Dia de Muertos.
What's that called?
October 31st or November 6th.
Oh, Halloween.
1st November. 1st and 2nd November.
Okay, sorry, I digressed.
Wikipedia's line.
Wait, you've just told us 3 different dates there.
Yeah, Wikipedia says it's the 1st and 2nd of November, though other days such as the 31st of October and November 6th are also included. Like a big
weird.
Just going back to Smithy. I don't think he's a hooker.
Right.
I don't like. Not,
well, they've got no
Cam
Murray for the rest of the season anyway, so they could play him at 13 or 9 over at South.
6 weeks. Then you never really... this will be just a bit of a... I can't see him coming back and performing like he did before the knee injury, only for the fact it takes... It's 24 months, really.
Okay.
And probably 30 months, probably another 6 months, and he's before you're back to normal. So, but maybe they're just going to get him there, get him around the boys, and have a fresh start in 2026.
Can I ask you another Roosters question? When Sam Walker comes back, who partners him in the halves?
Sandon Smith.
What about Savala's long kicking game?
He's been good. Impressive. Yeah, he has bbeen good, but unfortunately we can't put them all in.
Fair enough.
He'd be a terrific player on the bench.
Savala?
Yeah, he can. Oh, Brooksy wants him to the Dragons.
Oh.
I don't think you'll get your hands on him. Although if the DCE rumour is true,
then he's third drop.
Clubs sniffing around him.
Yeah.
Would you take him now?
You take him?
So Brooksy, you would take him in front of the King.
I thought the King was good.
LKT.
King Tongia was good on the weekend, Brooksy.
You
would use Savala over King.
Yeah, but you got to be careful because when you see different forward packs, he's on the back of a pretty good forward pack at the moment. You just got to be careful there.
Mm.
He's a big unit.
He's a big
I
unit.
think he's going to end up in the back row, isn't he?
Halfback to back row. It's not a commonly trod path.
No.
Let's go north of the border, Fletch. The Gold Coast Titans star David Fifita has been shopped to NRL rivals. This is via Travis Main and Sneaky Pete Bedell of the Daily Telegraph. Titans forward David Fifita has been shopped to rival clubs in the greatest indication yet that he could be headed out of the Gold Coast. He's since been sidelined indefinitely after being sent to seek a specialist opinion on an ankle problem he's been battling since undergoing surgery last year. The telly has confirmed at least 2 NRL clubs have been informally sounded out about their potential interest in David Fifita.
Yeah, it's not working. He's just get out. Get out. Obviously, him and Des aren't seeing eye to eye. I read in the report that he wanted to play left, and Des said, "Oh, well, if that's the case, go down and play on the left in Queensland Cup."
Yeah.
That's not the sign of a healthy relationship.
No, that's heavy.
Someone will get the best out of him.
Have you ever requested a position change from a coach?
No.
No.
Just play where you need me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I played 7 once. It was awesome.
7?
Adrian Lamb got knocked out.
Yeah.
So Freddie was 6, and I went to 7, and I was just bossing him around. It was awesome.
Did you kick?
No, I let that to Brad. Actually, no, I didn't. I left that to Freddie.
Any cut-out balls?
Oh, yeah. That was my
nice.
go-to. Just throw
Beautiful.
a big long ball.
Hey, could a David Fifita potentially talk to the Roosters and say,
Nah.
hey, I know.
That didn't end bad.
Burn that bridge?
That ended badly.
Well, who could use a Fifita then? I mean, any club, really. If he's at his best, any club will take him. But who's light on back rows at the moment? Could he work at a Penrith Panthers?
Yeah. He probably could. Imagine someone will get him right, and then you're coming off the bench. David Fifita just in a. I wonder. Well, would he consider going? Maybe it's a Dolphins. Maybe there's a Dolphin angle there.
Dolphins would work. They'd have cap space too
if he wants to stay up there.
I keep thinking with all these players that they're a year or two early in this, trying to get a release, because once that new club comes in, their price, the player market's going to go sky high, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a new club bidding on David Fifita.
David Fifita needs a good back end of the season, wherever he is.
Does.
And if his ankle's no good, does he just get it right and then say, right, I will leave, but it's not until 2026?
Yeah.
The backflip for the Chooks was a reason that he just...
His partner,
she's playing...
NRLW for the Titans, is that right?
Yeah, because that was the rumour. She was coming down to play for the Dogs, and that was going to be...
So he would have come with her.
Dogs.
Fifita to the Dogs. Don't hate it.
What, you're still here? Well, you can see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio, you beautiful humans.